Hello class and welcome to chapter 7. So now we're getting into one of my personal favorite topics is about competitiveness. And we'll focus now on external competitiveness. Basically, how do we compete against our competitors, essentially? So if I graduate with my MBA and I'm being recruited by both Coca-Cola and Pepsi, well, if you take away whichever you prefer, I know everybody prefers Coke or Pepsi, one or the other, but if they're both offering, relatively similar packages and they're both kind of competitive, how do you determine what's the right place to go? Would you be happier at Coke or would you be happier at Pepsi? Again, a lot of factors go into that, but how they pay you, how they create their own competitiveness against each other helps you determine the proper way to determine who you want to go to work for. And they do this in several different ways. They take kind of, you see on the slide that we talk about different pay levels and different pay mixes. On pay level, for example, if you take everything from the base pay, your bonuses, the benefits, all that, and kind of look at that, that's how we're looking at competitiveness, and that's how we're going to compare it to how we should decide where we should be working. So companies, especially large companies like Coke and Pepsi, have massive compensation total rewards professionals that really analyze this stuff and try to create that value. I'm a very happy employee here at Oklahoma State University, but let's just say the University of Colorado, for example, wanted me to come work for them. Well, they would have to incentivize me to move to a different state, so maybe they cover relocation costs. In addition to that, they're not going to not only offer me more money, but maybe better health insurance, better access to free education, better access to different, athletic events, whatever it is. It's kind of that total package that they're trying to look at to lure me away from Oklahoma State. I'm not leaving, by the way, go Pokes. But again, this is something that companies do all the time to try to lure best talent away. So let's look a bit more into what that looks like. So how do we look at external competitiveness? So we have to kind of figure out what is our goal with our competitors. And you might actually think, okay, are we going to pay above, below, or equal to our competitors? And there's kind of pros and cons as you can imagine with each of them. If we pay more than our competitors, then we can tout to our applicants and our people we're trying to attain, hey, look, we pay more than our competitor. You should come and totally work for us because we pay more. That's obviously very, very common. It's very effective because if you have two job offers and one wants to pay you $50,000 and the other $35,000, you're going to be very motivated to take the $50,000 for obvious reasons. But other companies may choose to have what we call at the market or equal to the market because again, you're basically paying the exact same thing, within a few points here and there of your competitors. But what do you do then is you really sell, look, there's a better way. Our benefits are better here. We have better health insurance. We have better dental insurance. We give you more money in your 401k, for example. So we try to kind of, your base salary might be the same, but we try to, tempt you with all these other little rewards. And there's actually an argument to be made for paying below market. And a lot of companies will pay below market because there's only so much money to go around. So if you're a smaller company and you can't quite pay as much as your bigger competitor, maybe, in that example I just used, maybe you're the company that can only afford to pay $35,000 instead of $50,000. Well, then you start using some more other non-traditional ways to recruit. Maybe you offer more sick and vacation time. Maybe you talk about the culture that, we have a family atmosphere and we're going to have lunches and free meals and all these other things that make you have a higher quality of life. And we'll talk about that later in the semester. But again, even if you pay below market, you can still be competitive by the other things that you offer. At the same time, a lot of companies will choose to offer less than market because they use that extra money that they save and put it into the business. So if all your competitors are paying $50,000 for a marketing manager and you're only willing to pay $35,000, well, if you can take that $15,000 savings and make it and put it back into the business and maybe then have a bigger marketing budget for advertisement or print or stuff like that. So again, there's no right or wrong answer. It is simply what your company values and how you want to be, kind of known based on your competitors. As part of attracting and retaining the right employees, I want to make it very clear that there is no, quote, going rate in the labor market for any type of job. You might hear, the going rate for a lawyer is $100,000. You kind of hear that all the time. Well, there really isn't any going rate. It is simply what is a company willing to pay you. So if you kind of average all that out, I guess that's kind of where they come up with this going rate. But it's very skewed because it doesn't really address all the other things. They're just talking about true base pay. But again, there is a strong financial component to health insurance and contributions to your 401k and time, sick and vacation time. That all has a monetary value as well. So you can't really say that there is a going rate in the labor market because, again, jobs fluctuate over time. You know, it was, maybe 30 years ago where a typewriting specialist was a highly sought after job before computers really took off. So nowadays, I challenge you to find somebody who's a typewriting specialist. It just doesn't really exist anymore. So a going rate for a job is only basically what a company is willing to pay you. So how does it compare to your competitors and what are they willing to pay you? So that kind of determines how you really look at the process of a going rate in the labor market. To kind of go about what I was talking about just a second ago is look at this kind of graph right here about the changes in labor demands right now. Within the next 10 or so years, the jobs on the left, the jobs at risk of becoming obsolete, are very, very strongly maybe non-existent in the not too distant future. And you might even think, well, sewing machine, you know, that maybe makes sense, or maybe a switchboard operator maybe makes sense. But you see computer operators are becoming almost obsolete. Somebody just to sit down and just kind of walks and operates a computer, not really too common because robotics and artificial technology and artificial intelligence are really taking that over. So even somebody just sitting there and literally just showing other people how to operate a computer, that could be something that's, you know, non-existent in the not too distant future. The other list right now kind of shows you the big in-demand jobs right now. So if you're in any of these fields, you know, they're basically begging you to come and work. And if you see kind of a theme in it is a lot of medical professionals, you know, dental hygienists, physical therapists, psychiatrists, a lot of health, medical sonographers, a lot of different things with health. You also see a lot of things with math and science and statistics. So actuaries, statistics professionals, because data, all of that is incredibly kind of hot right now. So again, I just wanted you to kind of see from a compensation perspective, the types of jobs that compensation professionals are just, you know, so happy about right now, because again, these are the jobs that people want, and there's not a lot of them because most of these jobs, as you can see, require very specialized skill sets. A couple of the other topics that I want you to be aware of for Chapter 7 involve labor, supplies, and efficiency wages. A couple things that are mentioned in your PowerPoint in your book. Make sure you read about those as well because, again, those are going to be very relevant for later on in the semester as well. Thanks, everybody, for listening for Chapter 7, and I'll see you here in a little bit. Thank you.